All right, so let's see how we can read the data from the Excel sheet and parameterize that with TestNG, right? So far we have seen how we can parameterize the test using the data provider and the object array, right? But now we'll be seeing how we can actually read the data from a real Excel file, right? So we will be taking a look. Now, in order to do that, I'll be creating a new class over here. I'll give this class name as TestNG Parameterization Excel. All right. Now I'll remove this main method and gonna add a method that says public static object array. Basically, I'm creating a data provider, right? And add the data provider. So this is what we have seen in the last session, right? And there will be a method for reading that like a test case. I can name it as test data, and that should be at the rate test, and the data provider will be get data, right? And let's import it using TestNG itself, right? So far what we have done, we have created an object array over here, right? Object array, we have created an object of object array, and given the total number of rows and total number of columns, then we have returned the data accordingly. And here we have like initialized values to all the data indexes like 0 0 0 1 0 2, and then whatever rows are there, whatever columns are there. Now this is what we need to capture dynamically over here. Now whatever columns that we have over here, we need to give those columns as a parameters over here to your test annotation. So you'll say string username, string password, and string is correct. Now what we were doing, we were trying to print out these values. So I can say username, I'll print the username, then I'll give some slashes, print the password, and then print is correct value, right? Now, how to get these values using the Excel sheet? Now, in order to read and write the data from Excel, so I've already covered these scenarios, like reading how we can read from Excel file the entire POE APIs over here. If you see the Java stream sections, right? So everything about the Excel reading I've covered, right? And I have also created an Excel utility called the Excel Reader file, which you can actually use, right? You can get the Excel Reader file as well from here, right? This is the file that I'm talking about. I'll be using this Excel Reader file. So I'll just add this file from here, and I'll just import it inside the project. So I'll right click. First of all, I'm gonna add some POE APIs, right? So we will be doing with the help of Apache POE, right? If you haven't gone through the Excel reading lectures, just go through that and follow whatever I've explained over there, right? So these are the 5 jar files that you will be needing, and the Excel reader file, I'm gonna copy it from here. Basically, this is a utility that I've created. Inside this, I have created couple of methods which will help you in reading and writing from the Excel sheet, right? We did talk about all these classes, whatever that we have used. All these classes I have covered in like the Excel reading topics that are over here in the Java stream. So you can go through these lectures. The POE API will be very much clear to you, right? Now, what we're gonna do, there are some methods like get row count. If you can look at this parameterization, this object array, the very first thing we need dynamically is the row count and the column count, right? So we have methods available over here, that is get row count. And if you talk about another method, these are some of the methods inside this class. So get row count is one of the method, and get column count is one of the method. And if you see, they are actually returning int values, right? So we can use this method. There's a method called get cell data from a particular sheet and rows. If you take a look at this method, from a particular sheet, column number and the row number, I can get the data, right? You need not to go in depth of what is written over here, right? I have done a hard work in creating this sheet, so you can refer the same sheet over here. So this is all one-time effort. Once these methods are there, you need not to create these methods again and again, right? So what we're gonna do, I'll go back over here. The very first thing, I need to create an object of this class. So I can say public static Excel reader Excel equal to null. For the timing, I am keeping it null. I'll be creating an object of this over here. So I can write if Excel equal to null. If this is null, right now this reference is null. So what it will gonna do, it will gonna load the Excel file by saying Excel equal to new Excel reader, right? And here we need to give the path of that Excel file. So path, how can we get the path? Let's say I create an Excel file over here, and this contains columns like username, password, and is correct value, right? So the very first username Raman, second Rahul, give some password values over here, right? And give value over here like this, right? And I'll give the sheet name as login test, right? So I'll just save it and save it to a particular location. Let's say C drive Selenium, right? At this location, I'm gonna store it. Let's say TestNG data dot xls. That is a default format, so it will gonna save in TestNG data dot xlsx, right? And same path I will be giving over here, that is dot xlsx, and it is inside C drive Selenium test data dot xls, right? So once the file is loaded, right, next thing I need to get is the total number of rows and the total number of columns. So I'll be saying something like Excel dot get row count. See, I get all these methods. So row count from the sheet name. Now I'll be giving the sheet name. What I can do, sheet name, I will be needing it again and again. So I'll create a variable called sheet name equal to, and I'll hard code the sheet name over here, that is login test. From this sheet I would be needing reading the data, right? This we need to provide it over here. So same thing, I can say sheet name over here, and this will actually gonna get the sheet the current row count. So I'll store it inside some variable. I can say rows equal to this variable will be of an int type, so int rows equal to this, and then we'll be needing the columns as well. So I can say Excel dot get column count, again from the sheet name, the same sheet name I can give it over here as well. So I got the row count, I got the column count, and here I can give the row count and the column count. So if you take a look at the rows, we would be needing data from the second row, right? So there are two rows over here. We'll not be counting the first row. So logically what I can do over here, I can say rows minus 1, right? And then the columns. So it will gonna give me the same data over here. Now next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write a loop for row num starts from 2. Why 2? Because I want to start it from the second row. And row num less than equal to rows, right, the count, and then row nums plus plus. So I've actually running a loop for which will actually gonna run on the rows, right? Then I'll be needing a loop that should actually run on columns. So I can say int column equal to, and columns I'm gonna start it from 0, right? Then I'll say call num less than the columns and call num plus plus. So what I'm doing over here, I'll be explaining you what I'm actually writing over here, right? And from all the cells, it should actually get the data. So Excel dot get cell data from sheet name, column num, and the row num, right? And I'm gonna store this data inside the two-dimensional array. That is, you remember we have a two-dimensional array called at the 0th row and the 0th index. I need to store the first data. So 0 row, how will I get the 0 row? I'm gonna get it from the row num, but the row num is 2, so I can say minus 2. It will gonna give me the 0th row, and then I'm gonna say the column like this. So the very first time when this loop runs, the data for the row will be 0 and the column will be 0. The indexes will be 0 0, and at the 0th position, sheet name, login test, column number is 0, and the row num is currently 2. So it should actually gonna take this particular data and will store it over here at the 0th index. Next time the index will be incremented for column. It will be 0 and then 1, right? So same way, like 0th and first location, it will gonna store the sheet name, column is 1, row is still 2. So it will gonna store this data, and so on. It will gonna run for the entire rows and columns, right? And at the end it should return the data. Now if I save this test, right, right now we have only two set of data over here. So if I save this and run this again, let's see, will it gonna read the data from the Excel sheet? No, it has not read it. Let's try to run it again. Okay, so there were two tests actually got executed, and see the data has been executed from the Excel sheet itself. Now no matter whatever data that you add over here, let's say I'll add the next name as let's say this, this, right? And if I save this, so for two set of data, it was actually showing 2 tests, and for 4 set of data, it will gonna show 4 set, and it has actually read the entire values. If you see over here, all the values are being executed. There are 4 tests that got executed successfully, and all of them are pass, right? So this is how we can actually integrate the Excel file while performing the parameterization using TestNG.